I heard my in-laws talking about getting my wife back together with her ex. I'm sorry if I write something incorrectly. English is not my first language, and I'm pretty horrible at it. I 35M have been with ABI 35F for 13 years now. Every day that goes by, I love her more and more, and we're even expecting our first baby. For the holidays, we always stay 2 to 3 months visiting my wife's family. But the problem is that this year all the family was really excited, saying that Alan was coming. In all the years in the family, I never heard of an Alan, and my wife didn't even care about it, so I thought it was just some cousin. But the famous Alan was my wife's ex-boyfriend and first love. The man lives in Europe, but Abi's family still has contact with him, and even invited the man to the house, now that he's in the country. I tried to get along with Alan, but the man just ignores me and takes every chance to get closer with my wife, making jokes or talking about the past. I didn't take it personally because I didn't want to look jealous, but lately he has been coming every day to visit the family, and Abi's family started comparing his accomplishments to mine. They're all big fans of Alan, and I honestly feel jealous of that because they're treating him better than me. 2 days ago, I heard my Mel and Bill talking about how nice it would have been for Abi to stay with Alan because he's a smart man. What hurt me the most was hearing my Bill say that he can try to get Alan and Abi back together, and my Mill just laughed, saying that it would be good to go on a trip to Europe every year and not to the countryside with the peasant talking about me because I live on a farm with my wife, just because she always dreamed of living in that kind of quiet environment. In fact, now that I'm no longer blindfolded, I'm starting to notice how my Bill makes too many comments to my wife about how great Alan is, although Abi never says kind things about Alan, and I think she even treats him like he's a child. I don't feel comfortable being here knowing that they see me as a dumb peasant, and it's horrible to see how they try to include Alan in the family when they still treat me like I'm just a casual boyfriend of Abi's. But my wife only sees her family these months of the year, and I don't want to ruin that or put that kind of stress on her since she's pregnant. I feel like I'm in some kind of rom-com, but I'm in the role of the bad husband. The protagonist leaves for the handsome CEO. Relevant comments. Sunshine Bear 100. And what does your wife say? OP, my wife just ignores Alan. And when my Bill says those things, Abi just says, if you like Alan that much, then F him. And the conversation ends. When I found out it's her ex, she just said, ah yes, I dated him for 2 months when I finished high school. And I made a disgusted face. I couldn't ask more because she has been really tired from the pregnancy, and I don't want to stress her more. Vegetable Cod 2340. I'm sorry they're this pressurized for a guy she dated for 2 months over a decade ago. OP, was Alan a family friend or something? It just feels weird that you like him this much. Having known you for 13 years, have they always disliked you? OP, from what I heard, he lived in the same neighborhood, but they were never close until Abi started dating him. When he moved to Europe, the family still had contact with him through Facebook and WhatsApp, and even some members of the family stay in his house when they trip to Europe, so it seems the aunts and cousins are really close with him. They always made jokes about our farm life, and I know my Mill hates that Abi has gone to live so far away from them. She always hides her dislike for me, although I can feel the cold treatment she always gives me. My Bills always made it obvious that they didn't like me for taking their older sister away. The rest of the family treats me well, or is just normal, but Alan is really charismatic. They're all really extroverted people, and I'm more on the quiet side, so I think it's easier for them to like him more. Update. I found out my wife was cheating on me with Alan. Nah, just kidding. Thanks for all the advice I received. Many of them were very helpful, and some were very weird ideas, like recording conversations with my Mill, or having my wife choose between her family and me. Maybe it's something cultural, but I would never give an ultimatum like that because to me, it's a really low blow to do. Here, family is very important. After making the post and reading the comments, I decided to talk with Abi about what I heard. We were in our room, and I talked about what her mother and brother said as calmly as possible. But the moment I finished telling everything, Abi just kissed my forehead and ran with her pregnant belly out of the bedroom to literally yell at everyone in the living room. No one spoke beside an aunt, who tried to justify them by saying that they were just making jokes, to which I replied that they were uncomfortable and disgusting jokes. At some point, Abi told her mother something like, whether you like it or not, I'm married to this man. I'm going to have this baby with him and many more, so shut up and bear with it. Then my wife yelled at her brothers and went with them to talk in private. My Bills talked with me and admitted that they were only doing that because they believed I was forcing Abi to marry and live on a farm far away from the family when it was actually Abi's idea to get married in private and live on the farm. So all these years it has just been a misunderstanding. The 3 brothers apologized to me and were really embarrassed about their behavior, saying they only invited Alan to mess with me. After that, most of the family members apologized to us. Abi told everyone that she doesn't want to see Alan in the house anymore while we're here. She's not going to forbid them to talk with him, but she doesn't want to see him near her because it's uncomfortable. Mill tried to complain, but Abi just said, "Shut up, Mom," and left the living room with me. In the bedroom, Abi confessed to me that she also felt uncomfortable, but since Alan is a friend of the family, she preferred not to say anything other than throw passive-aggressive comments at him. For example, after New Year's, we were all eating, and Alan stroked her belly without asking, to which my wife said, "Do it again, and I'll bite you," so he never did that again. Abi even said that in an opportunity, she actually talked with Alan and told him that she dislikes being touched by other people, but Alan said she was overacting and left her talking alone. I feel really stupid for not noticing how uncomfortable my wife was feeling, because after that, she stayed most of the time in the bedroom when Alan was in the house with the excuse she was tired because of the pregnancy. Just out of curiosity, I asked her why she broke up with Alan, if he's such a cool man, because, I'll admit it, he's really charismatic. And Abi told me that he always treated her as if he knew everything and explained things that she already knew every time they talked. Abi never felt the need to talk about that relationship because it wasn't relevant, and she sees me as her first love and not Alan. I apologized to Abi for not noticing how uncomfortable she was and only looking at my own feelings without talking about it as a couple, and Abi also apologized for the same. We promised to communicate this kind of thing to each other no matter what. Yesterday, we went on a date together, and when we came back, my Mill looked very unfriendly, but she apologized to my wife, to which Abi said she should apologize to me, so Mill and I talked for a while alone, and although I'm still upset, we promised to at least be civil with each other for Abi and the baby. We decided to stay in one of my hotel rooms while we're here. Even if it's a 3-hour drive, it would be better for us to be comfortable, and 3 months in my in-laws' house were always really tiring, so it's something we should have done earlier. For now, Alan is no longer in the picture, because yesterday I got his number to send a message clarifying why he can't come back, and why I don't want him near my wife. The man just blocked me without answering. I guess he understood, but if he didn't, I don't have any problem going to talk about it face to face. I showed Abi the Reddit post, and she didn't have any problem with me asking for advice. I'm even posting this now with her hugging my arm. I love this woman a lot. PT2. Alan came back to the country because he divorced his wife and is flirting with any woman the way he wants. So it seems he thought it was a great idea to try and flirt with my pregnant wife. Relevant comments. Dr. Kittleover, yay for your wife. I appreciate her so much for listening to you, supporting you, and not delaying a single moment in setting her family straight. She sounds amazing, as does your marriage and connection, and I'm so happy this situation seems to have only made you stronger as a couple, and maybe as individuals too. And one more thing. I am very vocal about having autonomy and full control over who touches them and when. Included in this are pregnant women and the tendency for people to help themselves to a tummy touch without permission from the mama. It enraged me that people feel entitled to the body of another person in any way like that. Reading that Alan touched Abi's belly made my blood boil, but I absolutely love her response that she will bite him if he does it again. She's feisty, and that will continue to serve her well in her life and the life of her child. OP same. Abi also hates when people touch her belly without asking. Even old ladies we don't know do that, and it's really uncomfortable for her. Abi always asks people not to do that, but most of them get offended by that. There are many people who do not respect the personal space of pregnant women with the excuse of caressing the baby. It's really annoying. Update. I saw a TikTok account saying I was raised in an orphanage. A TikTok account about Reddit posted the story with Alan. But they changed a lot of things, and even said that Alan made jokes about riding Abi. It feels like a broken phone. I always read about Reddit TikTok accounts changing the stories. But damn, why did they describe me as a hooligan, a criminal orphan, and Alan as a rich man with abs? I have parents in abs. Another account said that I have been married to Abi for 6 years, and Alan was her ex-husband. Like a headcanon of my own life. The account even said that my mother-in-law wanted to frame me for cheating my Mill. A woman who thinks OF is the same as Instagram. People are too creative. I can't believe someone could believe those kinds of stories. We found it really funny that those accounts needed to make the situation really weird. And to be honest, I'm surprised that people think that kind of thing can really happen. At least in the comments, people know how great my wife is. Thank you for watching the video.